Today, with time 4:14, we're so happy you're here. We're going to talk about this guy. Okay, we're going to talk about him a little bit, but more around him. This is Bruce. He doesn't really drive. He's not old enough. He'll get his permit soon. So last year, one of my kids called me at the end of the year. They were going to help a friend move, and the friend had this kitten that they were just going to let loose. Like, they lived in town and they were just gonna like shoo it outside. Bruce had already lived with us a little bit here, but you can tell he's definitely kitten size. And I think that was maybe we'd had him a month at that point. Anyway, he was a little guy. There's no way he would have made it. So my kid calls me on their way home and they said that they brought this cat. Now, in this house, I am an animal rescuer. I have, for the past 20 years, I've been a real estate appraiser and a real estate broker for the past 18 years. I go into a lot of foreclosures. I bring home animals. I bring home animals that other people have left in foreclosed homes. I bring home animals that I find on the side of the road. This is how my kids have grown up, that mom brings home animals that need a home. We have a lot. We've got a barn. We've got a detached garage. We've got a lot of outbuildings. So, there's a place for everybody here. And so I didn't question my kid. I had to break it. I had to break the news to my husband because he's allergic to cats. He's come a long way. And he's realized he can pet them, and then he just has to wash his hands before, like touching his face or anything. Like, that would have made him sneeze. So, but the talk with my kid was this was their cat. Well, they wanted it to be too. They wanted it to be just their cat. And I was like, okay, then you are paying for the vet bills. You are paying it. They can eat the food. I have a lot of cat food around here. They are paying for the vet bills, and they are in charge of the care. So at first, my kid was saving up for some other things. They had a car accident, so they had car repairs, and they had other things for their money to go to. So when I said, you need to make an appointment for the cat to go in to get shots and to get spayed, the response was, well, I don't have money. I was like, well, there's places you can go that are cheaper. So we talked about different things, and my child waited until they had the money and then called, and then they were waiting 2 months for a spay at the most affordable county spay and neuter clinic, which that's fine. Could have gotten a sooner appointment at a vet office. That would have been more. I know, I've talked with my kids about budget, so I know they were working within their budget. So fine. But while we wait for this vet appointment, which is Wednesday this week, so excited. This kitten's been growing up. Bruce no longer looks like this. He's almost full grown size now, and he marks his territory. So we have had a frustrating amount of cleanup to do around this house. And I have to take deep breaths. And I do make my child clean this up. And I do let this child know when this happens. And if maybe they're working a double at work and we're not going to wait for it to be cleaned up, I do let them know when there was cleanup done. So I'm trying very hard not to nag. There's this, very narrow line here between keeping them informed of what their lack of action has caused in this house and nagging and complaining. I think I might have every right to nag and complain, but I don't, because then their focus goes from their actions, the results of that, how to fix it, what they could have done different. Their attention goes from that to mom nagging, to I'm in trouble, and I want them to figure this out and learn this lesson. Not just in this, obviously, but in being responsible. But yes, if I didn't have another male cat in here trying to mark his territory for months while we wait for an appointment, that would be fantastic. But this is just a drop in the bucket of life. It's okay. I have to keep reminding myself of that as I clean things. This is okay. This is teaching them something. And I can see it on my teenager's face that they wish this would have happened differently. So then we talk. wouldn't it have been good if you had called when I first suggested? And I met with, well, I didn't have the money then. So I bring up, no, you didn't. But you would have had the money by the time the appointment came. And then there's the aha minute. Now, I don't bring this up all the time. This has been a discussion twice. Once when the appointment was first scheduled, so like 2 months ago, and then once just last week, because your teenagers and us as adults, it's easier to sometimes feel sorry for ourselves. So sometimes intentionally, sometimes not intentionally, our brain kind of blocks out the part that we don't like. So that part had been kind of blocked out. So I did just a gentle reminder. If you had called it first, you would have had money by the time the appointment happened. This cat would not have matured enough in that amount of time to start marking everywhere. So this cute little guy has been a good lesson in responsibility, in taking care of something else, in planning, in budgeting, all of these things, and especially when he was littler, in being responsible for another life. When they had something else to go do, they would ask a sibling to watch him or one of us. So like the planning, I mean, this little guy brought about a lot of good things, enough that this has been worth it. And I've reminded myself of that last few prior weeks when things were getting messy and a lot of cleanup. This will be worth it. I did nickname him Mr. Tinkles. Who would have thought, this little guy grows up to be Mr. Tinkles. Hopefully, after this week, we can change his nickname. I don't know if I've ever been so excited about an animal getting neutered or spayed. We'll throw that in. I am just so excited. But big picture, my teenager has learned a valuable lesson here. And sometimes parents, we just gotta keep things in perspective. It would be really easy to get upset every time we've had to clean up. And I've had to take some deep breaths, count to 10, not turn on my teenager right away, because it wouldn't have just been me notifying them. It would have been me venting to them. And whether that's deserved or not is irrelevant. It's not healthy to the situation. They didn't need to hear for 2 months my feelings. The facts were enough. The facts spoke enough to, this should have been handled a different way. There was a better, more responsible way for this to be handled. And all I needed to say for that to click in their head every time was, he peed again, he peed on this, he peed on that, you need to go clean this up, I had to clean this up. Those reports were enough. I didn't need to give them a lecture every time. Man, I felt like it. But that wouldn't have helped anybody. It would have led to resentment. And this whole responsibility lesson would have been lost. So, take some deep breaths, parents. It's worth it. Just keep reminding yourself it's worth it. If they learn this lesson, it's worth it.